they make you fat, you have problems digesting them. Today we're going to run through some of the claims that people make about nuts, seeds, chocolate, see if there's some truth to that. Be sure to stick around at the end. I'll throw in my final 2 cents on what you can do with this information. So nuts and seeds are a healthy source of fat. That's often been claimed. Is there any truth to that? Well, first of all, for you guys that are worried about seed oils, well, where do you think seed oils come from? They come from grinding seeds and expressing their oil out of there. So there may be some concerns on that. Now, in its whole intact form, as in found in foods, versus when it's been industrially segregated, subject to high heat treatment and multiple deodorizations and other chemical reactions, maybe that's making the problem. So this is one where I'm going to say that, it may not be the worst thing for you, and certainly refined oils are probably going to be more likely to be problematic. In the case that it is a problem, you can always get your fat from what I consider healthy sources, which are animal products, is where most humans have gotten most of their fat for most of humanity. Okay, some people say pumpkin seeds, almonds are very good sources of magnesium. On paper, pumpkin seeds and almonds look like they've got a lot of magnesium, but can we access it? Is it bound up and difficult to absorb? Well, the answer is, yeah, it pretty much is. Almonds, remember, and sunflower seeds are the babies from these big plants, and they're trying to protect these things. And so these plants have their internal pesticides, they have phytotoxins that are designed to deter predators, so you get those things along with the magnesium, but the magnesium is often bound up with other anti-nutrients, so things like, for instance, oxalates, which are high, particularly in almonds, which can lead to, in high enough doses, problems with the kidneys and many other problems. Again, there are much better sources of magnesium out there that don't come with all these other side effects, particularly in people that are very sensitive to those. Okay, nuts and seeds are fine. They're paleo. You can eat as many of them you want. Again, they are concentrated sources of both carbohydrate and fat. They're basically the closest thing to nature do we have a processed food. They're not really designed to be eaten by us in large quantities. And what happens, you've seen a squirrel going into hibernation. They basically load up on nuts so they can save fat over the winter. And the same thing happens to humans. They're not particularly satiating. How hard is it to sit through and go through a big old bin of Costco macadamia nuts, or spoon through a jar of almond butter? Very quickly, you can realize you can overeat that stuff very quickly. So these can be very problematic for many people, particularly people that are trying to lose weight. Now, if you're trying to gain weight, that may be a different story there. Now, chocolate is a good source of minerals.